Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Let's seek the truth and travel the long road to justice together. What you know, Alibiers? Welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi. It is Friday the 13th. I think maybe I'll watch some horror movies tonight. I have a few updates for you today. First off, we're going to talk about Luigi Mangione, and then we're going to move into the Pike County Massacre trial for Billy Wagner, which is an absolute chaos. But first, what's going on with Luigi Mangione? New York District Attorney Alvin Bragg said that Luigi could waive extradition to New York City as early as next Tuesday. He said indications are that Luigi may waive them, but that wouldn't be official until a court hearing, and the earliest that could happen would be Tuesday. Mr. Bragg said, so until that time, we're going to continue to press forward on parallel paths. We will be ready whether he is going to waive extradition or whether he is going to contest extradition. A representative for United Healthcare told ABC News that Luigi was not a client of theirs. And prosecutors from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office are also presenting evidence to a grand jury to secure an indictment against Luigi. The indictment itself, it serves as the formal finding of probable cause, which eliminates the statutory right to a preliminary hearing. Once the indictment's handed down, the official process of charging the suspect for the crimes begins. And if he doesn't waive extradition, an indictment could speed things up in getting him from Pennsylvania to New York City. The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, said she expects a governor's warrant for extradition would be issued any day now, and she will sign it the second it happens. Then she would work with the Pennsylvania governor, Josh Shapiro, to get Luigi to New York as quickly as possible. The governor said, I want to get him back here in the state of New York and run him through our criminal justice system because that horrific attack occurred on our streets and the people of our city deserve to have that sense of calm that this perpetrator has been caught and will never see the light of day if there is justice. You cannot assassinate an individual on the streets of New York, not now, not ever. I have a copy of his arrest warrant out of New York, so let's read through that. The factual basis for these charges are as follows. I've reviewed surveillance video depicting the exterior of the Hilton at the above location, specifically a camera angle depicting 54th Street between 6th Avenue and Avenue of the Americas. In the surveillance footage at approximately 6:44 a.m., a man wearing a distinctive clothing outfit that has in parentheses the shooter approached Brian Thompson from behind, and then the shooter held what I recognize to be a firearm with a silencer attached at the end and fired it several times at Brian Thompson, causing him to collapse on the ground. I'm informed by Detective Oscar Diaz that he was present for the autopsy of Brian Thompson and that the cause of Mr. Thompson's death was determined to be a gunshot wound to the torso. The defendant is the person shooting and killing Brian Thompson in the above described surveillance footage based upon evidence collected during the investigation, including but not limited to 1. Surveillance footage I've reviewed from the New York City hostel at 891 Amsterdam Avenue, which depicts the same man wearing the same clothing leaving the hostel on December 4th, 2024 at about 5:34 a.m. Number 2, surveillance footage I've reviewed from that same hostel depicts the same man checking into the hostel on November 24th at about 11:20 p.m. and showing a driver's license upon check-in. Number 3, I've reviewed business records from the hostel that showed the man provided a New Jersey driver's license with the name of Mark Rosario on it. Number 4, I'm informed by Detective Diaz that he is informed by Patrolman Tyler Fry of Altoona Police Department that on December 9th, 2024 at 9:58 a.m., defendant was taken into custody at the McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. That defendant presented a forged New Jersey driver's license with the name Mark Rosario as his identification, which based on the number on it was the same identification defendant presented at the hostel and that in defendant's belongings, patrolman Christy Wasser found a semi-automatic pistol with what appears to be a 3D printed loaded receiver with a metal slide and silencer and written admissions about the crime. That was the end of his arrest affidavit out of New York. We've also learned that Luigi cut off contact with his family last year. A high school friend of Luigi's told the Daily Mail, "I did know he was having some issues. He wasn't talking with his family and nobody could find him. They hired a private investigator. They were so worried." The ex-schoolmate said he ran into Luigi in Baltimore a couple of years ago and something seemed off. He said Luigi told him he had temporarily stopped working and was taking a break. He said Luigi was more serious and toned down. The friend attributed that to just maturity and getting older. A few months later, he heard that Luigi was estranged from his family and they'd hired a private investigator to find him, but were unsuccessful. So that's all with Luigi for today, but kind of related. We have 42-year-old mother of three, Briana Boston, out of Lakeland, Florida. She was arrested for threatening BlueCross BlueShield over a rejected medical claim. At the very end of the call, she said, "Delay, deny, depose. You people are next." She told police she used those words because it's what's in the news right now. She said she didn't own any firearms and isn't a threat, but also said healthcare companies deserve karma and they're evil. She was charged with threats to conduct a mass shooting or act of terrorism and was booked at a jail in Pike County. Get this, she faces 15 years in prison for those comments to that healthcare representative. Her bail is set at $100,000, and the judge said the amount is appropriate considering the status of our country at this point. Lakeland Police Chief Sam Taylor said, "She's been in this world long enough that she certainly should know better, that you can't make threats like that in the current environment that we live in and think we're not going to follow up and put you in jail." So that's it on that front today. Moving on to the Pike County Massacre trial for Billy Wagner. This is the largest murder investigation in Ohio history, with husband and wife Billy and Angela Wagner and their two sons, Jake and George. They killed 7 members of the Roden family: Chris Roden, Frankie, Dana, Gary, Hannah Mae, Kenneth, and little Chris, as well as Frankie's fiance, Hannah Hazel Gilley, all over a child custody dispute. The murders happened back in 2016. Jake and Angela pleaded guilty and testified against George at his trial, which resulted in a guilty verdict. For those of you who have not followed this case, it is a fascinating and horrific case. I have a playlist on it that tells the entire backstory, as well as following George's trial daily with recaps if you want to go back and listen. But Jake and Angela pleaded guilty and had conditions that they testify against George and Billy to the satisfaction of the state, and the death penalty would be taken off the table for the entire family. Jake and Angela did testify against George at his trial, and they were supposed to be testifying against Billy at his upcoming trial. However, the judge set Jake and Angela's sentencing for December 17th, which was before Billy's trial. And he took death off the table for Billy. I don't really see any reason at this point Jake and Angela would testify against Billy unless they just want to. Prosecutor Canepa told the judge he had no legal basis to get rid of the death penalty specification since there's no motion requesting that from the state of Ohio. She told the judge, "We've got the testimony, sworn testimony of his 2 co-defendants that he participated and personally killed 3 people. Why are you trying to sabotage this case?" The judge said, "I'm not." Prosecutor Canepa fired back and said, "Yes, you absolutely are." She's currently appealing this decision, and she wants the judge removed from the case entirely. In her filing, she said if the judge is permitted to continue presiding over the case, neither the victims' families nor the general public can have any confidence the state would receive a fair trial. He also moved Billy's trial out of Pike County. That was something that George Wagner asked, was that his trial be moved out of Pike County. That was denied. But this judge is suggesting the trial be held in Seneca County, Ohio, and on Google Maps, it shows that's about 157 miles away from Pike County, and that would equal a 3+ hour drive, which is a huge burden for the surviving family members to be able to attend that trial. Victims' rights groups have been vocal about the change of venue, citing the burden on family members as well as the community. Now, the pre-trial hearing for Billy that was set for this coming Monday, December 16th, it's been canceled. As of now, the hearing has been rescheduled for January 3rd. That trial was set to start January 6th. Don't see that happening. This could take months to resolve, and it could potentially end up in the Ohio Supreme Court for them to decide about these issues. They've also canceled that sentencing for Jake and Angela Wagner. So who knows when this is going to go to trial, what's going to happen. It's been since 2016. That is a very long road to justice. I'll keep you posted on anything new in either one of these cases. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Hit the bell notification if you want to know when I post new content, whether it's a YouTube short or another episode. All right, guys. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend. Planning to take it off, but if things keep developing, I will definitely hop on and let you know the latest. All right, we'll see you soon.